When I lost my job, my wife and daughter abandoned me. So I sold the house and left without a word. Now they're begging, but I'm never their ATM again. Hello Reddit I+ here. My name is Daniel Whitaker. I'm 55 years old, and if you had told me a year ago that I'd be starting life over in a new city, divorced, and finally free, I would have laughed. I thought I had the dream life, until I lost my job, and my wife and daughter revealed the truth I never wanted to see. For nearly 2 decades, I worked as a senior operations director at a medical supply company in New Jersey. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid well, nearly $180,000 a year with bonuses. I provided my family with everything: a large home in Princeton, vacations in Cape Cod, and even a lakeside cabin in Vermont that I'd inherited from my grandfather. My wife, Melissa, age 49, came from old money. Her parents had a sprawling estate in Connecticut, trust funds for each grandchild, and an unshakable belief that she'd married beneath her. Melissa worked part-time at a boutique art gallery, a position she got through her wealthy college roommate. It wasn't for money, it was for status. Our daughter, Lydia, was 21, a junior at Columbia University, living the privileged life of a student who never worried about money. Study abroad programs, designer clothes, and sorority trips. I footed the bill for all of it. And then, the floor fell out. My company called me in for what I thought was a quarterly review. Instead, I was handed a severance envelope. 17 years, gone in 15 minutes. They called it restructuring. I called it betrayal. Still, I tried to keep calm. My severance was decent, and I had savings. I drove home rehearsing the words I'd say to Melissa. I thought she'd be upset, but supportive. After all, we were a team, right? When I finally told her, she didn't hug me. She didn't even look sad. She looked angry. Dan, how could you let this happen? What about Lydia's tuition? What about summer in Tuscany? I explained that this wasn't my fault, that I'd already started reaching out to contacts. But she wasn't listening. To her, I hadn't lost a job. I had lost my usefulness. That night, I lay awake in bed, wondering when my wife stopped seeing me as her husband and started seeing me as her ATM. The days that followed were hell. Melissa barely spoke to me. When she did, it was to ask, "Any interviews? Any offers yet?" Lydia came home for a long weekend, and instead of asking if I was okay, she whined about her canceled summer abroad program. "Dad, you promised. How am I supposed to build my resume without it?" Her words hit me harder than any layoff could. No, I'm sorry. No, are you okay? Just entitlement. The final straw came one Sunday night when I overheard Melissa whispering on the phone to her sister. I always knew Dan wasn't cut out for management. At least Lydia has my family's genes. Honestly, I don't know how much longer I can do this. He's just sitting at home pretending to job hunt. 17 years of loyalty at work, 25 years of marriage, and that's how she saw me. The next morning, she moved into the guest room so she could sleep better. Lydia stopped answering my texts altogether. Suddenly, I was a stranger in my own home. While I was scouring job boards, Melissa was spending like nothing had changed. Shopping sprees, weekend spa trips with Lydia, fine dining with her wealthy friends. One day, I checked our joint credit card bill and nearly dropped it. $14,200 charged in 1 month. When I confronted her, she shrugged. "Relax, my parents can help if it comes to that. Lydia shouldn't suffer just because you can't keep a job." That sentence was the knife twist. Because you can't keep a job. The next week, I discovered she had secretly booked a luxury European vacation for herself and Lydia. While I was stressing about bills, they were planning shopping in Paris. That night, I realized something. I didn't have a wife and daughter. I had 2 entitled strangers who saw me as a wallet. The lifeline came from an old friend, Tom, my college roommate. He called out of the blue and said his company in North Carolina was hiring a regional operations director. Lower pay than my old job, but the cost of living was half. It felt like a chance at a second life. Quietly, I began preparing. The Vermont cabin, titled solely in my name, had always been Melissa's least favorite. "Too rustic," she complained. I contacted a realtor and sold it. The buyer paid cash, and within weeks, I had enough for a down payment on a new house down south. I withdrew my share of savings from our joint accounts, leaving hers untouched. I wasn't going to strip her of money, but I also wasn't going to let her bankrupt me. Then I packed my essentials, hired movers, and arranged transport for my car. The day Melissa and Lydia left for their Paris trip, I left behind a letter on the kitchen counter. "Melissa, I've accepted a new position in North Carolina. I've sold the Vermont property, and I will be filing for divorce. I wish you both the best, but I refuse to be treated as nothing more than a paycheck. From now on, Communication goes through my lawyer. And then, I boarded a flight. 2 days later, my phone exploded. Melissa, what the hell do you think you're doing? Get back here now! Lydia, Dad, how could you abandon us like this? Mom is freaking out. Call me. Her sister. You've embarrassed this family beyond repair. Our lawyer will be in touch. Even Melissa's mother left a voicemail. I always knew you were beneath Melissa. This stunt proves it. For the first time in years, I didn't feel anger. I felt relief. At first, their messages were furious. Then they turned desperate. Melissa, Mark, the mortgage is due. I don't know what to do. Please call me. Lydia, Dad, I know I've been selfish. I'm sorry. Please give us another chance. I miss you. But I didn't go back. My lawyer handled everything. Melissa had to sell our New Jersey home at a loss. Her gallery job couldn't cover her lifestyle. Her parents refused to bail her out, saying she had to fix things with Dan. She emailed me. I was wrong. I see that now. Please, let me move to North Carolina. We can start fresh. I didn't respond. Lydia cried on the phone, saying her mom was having breakdowns, that she was scared. I told her I'd continue to pay her tuition, but my marriage was over. Today I live in a modest but beautiful home in Raleigh. My new job is steady. I joined a hiking group, started fishing again, and even began dating a woman named Claire, a teacher who earns her own way and doesn't need me to be her ATM. For the first time in decades, I feel like myself again. Melissa and Lydia are flying to North Carolina next week, begging to meet face to face. Maybe they'll apologize. Maybe they'll beg for money, but I already know my answer. I will never go back to being their paycheck. Some bridges, once burned, light the path forward. The email from my lawyer arrived on a Tuesday morning. Daniel, your wife and daughter have booked flights to Raleigh. They want to meet you in person. My advice, do not meet them without legal counsel present. For 2 days, I stared at that email. My gut twisted. Part of me wanted to see them, to hear if they could possibly admit what they'd done. Another part of me, the wiser part, knew this wasn't about love, it was about desperation. That Friday evening, as the North Carolina summer sun sank below the pines, my phone rang. It was Lydia. Dad, she said, her voice trembling. Please, don't hang up. I stayed silent. I know I was awful. I laughed with Mom when you were struggling. I ignored your calls. I was selfish, but I miss you. I miss my dad. I don't care about the money. I just want you back. My heart cracked a little. I wanted to believe her. But then Melissa's voice cut through in the background. Tell him we can stay with you until we figure things out. Tell him we need to rebuild as a family. And just like that I remembered who they were. Lydia, I said slowly, I will always love you. But your mother? She showed me what I was worth to her, and you joined in. I'll pay your tuition, but I won't be anyone's backup wallet ever again. There was a long silence, then a choked sob. I understand. When I hung up, I knew something. If they were coming to Raleigh, it wasn't for reconciliation. It was for survival. 2 days later, I was at a local cafe when I spotted them through the window. Melissa and Lydia. They looked different. Melissa's expensive glow was gone. No designer handbag, no salon-perfect hair, just a wrinkled blouse and tired eyes. Lydia looked nervous, shifting from foot to foot. I walked out to greet them, not with a hug, but with a calm nod. Melissa lunged first. Dan! Finally! I've been calling, texting, begging. Why are you doing this to us? I crossed my arms. To you? Melissa, I lost my job, and instead of standing by me, you and Lydia laughed behind my back. You called me a failure. You booked vacations while I worried about bills. Don't say I did this to you. You did this to yourself. Her eyes widened, then filled with tears. I was scared, Dan. I panicked. I shouldn't have said those things. I was raised to believe money meant security, and when you lost your job, it felt like the ground disappeared under me. Please, I made a mistake. Let me fix it. I shook my head. You didn't make a mistake, Melissa. You revealed the truth. You never loved me. You loved what I could provide. Lydia stepped forward. Dad, please, don't punish me for Mom's mistakes. I was just immature. I didn't know how to handle it. I need you. Her voice cracked. And for a moment I wanted to fold her into my arms. But then I remembered the night I overheard her with Melissa, laughing while I sat in my office, broken and unemployed. I put a hand on her shoulder. Lydia, I'll always be your father. But being my daughter means more than swiping my credit card. If you want a relationship, it has to be built on respect. That's up to you. Melissa's face hardened. So what now? You just move on with some new woman? Pretend we never existed? I looked her in the eye. No, Melissa. I move on as a man who finally knows his worth. That night, Melissa sent me one last email. Dan, I can't survive without you. I lost the house. My parents won't help me. I was wrong. Please let me come back. I'll change. I'll be better. I can't live like this. For years, that message would have broken me. But not anymore. I wrote back only one line. Melissa, I hope you find the happiness you could never find with money. Goodbye. It's been 6 months since that day. My divorce is final. Lydia and I talk once a week, slowly rebuilding what was broken. She's learning how to stand on her own, and for the first time, I see glimpses of a woman instead of a spoiled girl. Melissa. Last I heard, she's renting a small apartment outside New York, working part-time at the gallery again. Her family finally cut her off. I don't hate her. I don't even pity her. I just don't think about her anymore. Because here's the truth. Losing my job was the best thing that ever happened to me. It tore the mask off the people I thought loved me. It showed me that respect built on money isn't respect at all. Now I hike every weekend. I fish at the lake near my new home. And I've started dating Claire, a woman who looks at me not as a paycheck, but as a partner. At 55, I've learned something priceless. Some endings are really beginnings in disguise. And sometimes, walking away is the most powerful revenge of all.